previously.
You're here to kill me, aren't you?
Had the situation been a tad different, this girl may have been spared. But by this point, that is no longer an option.
Will you at least tell me why?
You should have kept your mouth shut, Miss Lucia.
Oh my god.
As I calmly analyzed my situation, Lucia's futile resistance grew even weaker. All she could do was bleed to death, while I avoided the mess she was making. I swear, if you aren't asleep by this time, I count to... Mr. K stopped himself mid-sentence, both physically and mentally unable to continue his train of thought. On Lucia's bed was the lifeless body of his daughter, and just beyond her corpse stood the teenager responsible for her gruesome death. And at that moment of immobilizing shock was all I needed.
Oh my god! God! He's here! He's in the room right now! No, I don't know! It's too dark to tell! Please, just hurry up and...
The sole survivor of this devastating attack, Miss Lucia K, is currently being monitored by police in the intensive care unit at an undisclosed hospital. Oh my god, she survived? What the hell? That's impossible! She can't be alive. I slit her throat wide open. I accept. I knew you wouldn't disappoint me. Be here Monday morning, 10 a.m. I'll have you meet your new co-workers. Chapter 8: Unprofessional Killer. The definitely had to be added there. Oh god, I forgot. It's boardroom time meeting. Time to meet our co-workers. Monday morning, September 26th. A while after my sister and I parted ways this morning, I headed to Karasu's underground stadium, taking the same route I had traveled several times before. I followed Karasu's instructions, as detailed to me last night, and soon found myself in a conference room not far from his office. Although there were several chairs surrounding the large circular table, I was the only person inside of this eerie room, and had been since the moment I arrived. I left a bit earlier than usual, since I didn't want to be late, but I didn't think I'd be the only one here. It's been at least half an hour now since I got here, and I still haven't seen a single other person. It's a test. It's a test. How long is he gonna wait here? Though considering the kinds of people Karasu employs, perhaps not meeting up with them is for the best. Despite promising to give me more details on what my job would entail, Karasu failed to tell me explicitly what I would be doing. However, between watching fighters in his underground stadium and serving as one of his collectors, I was convinced that the work awaiting me would be neither legal nor safe. Oh, morning. After what felt like an entire eternity sitting alone, the first of my co-workers finally arrived. Better yet, he was a person I recognized immediately, and someone with whom I hadn't had any altercations. Good morning. I guess the others aren't up yet. It'll probably be a while before they all show up. That's just great. Why did Karasu tell me to come here so early if the others won't be here? Oh well. Ready for your first day on the job? As ready as I'll ever be, I guess. Haha, fair enough. Wow. When he smiles, he actually doesn't look that, that killer-like, I guess. But then you look at his scar and like, yep, that's not someone a normal person has. Or at least there is definitely a scary reason behind it. It'll still be a while until everybody's here, so I guess I should give you the rundown, huh? Size certainly isn't about to do it. Nor should I. Earn your pay, Kane. Whoa, what the heck? I thought I was alone until now. When did he get here? Ninja, I'm telling you, Ninja. Yeah. Understood. Well then, Suoh, for starters, do you know why you're here? Why I'm here? To meet my new coworkers? Haha, no, not that. I mean, do you know why we all meet down here? What we discuss? Why we bother to meet at all? Oh, not really. Karasu didn't say much about who I'd be meeting with, or why. Figures. First and foremost, we meet down here to assign work. Targets are divided up according to urgency, difficulty, and individual skill sets. For example, as the newest recruit, you won't be given anything fatally urgent or difficult. Conversely, as the most experienced and capable among us, Sai takes the more urgent and dangerous targets. Are you with me so far? Yeah, that makes sense. Good. Now if you want to go a little more in-depth, targets are further divided into 3 categories. First are the paid kills. Simple motives, simple money. A client indirectly approaches Karasu with the down payment and the necessary details, and we get to work. These are usually people from out of town who we can't be linked back to, whose deaths won't result in one of Karasu's businesses losing a potential employee. Second are the troublemakers. People making Karasu's life, or our lives, more difficult. It's the popo. Karasu doesn't make any money from these kills. They're all about reputation, and to send a warning to others. Oh my god, this is one of those kills, you know, it's a warning kill. Last but not least, are uncooperative businessmen, and as Karasu calls them, financial blockades. They could be business owners whose land Karasu has set his eyes on, investors in rival companies, or politicians trying to put an end to Karasu's imminent takeover. Still making sense? Absolutely. Thank God, Kane doesn't beat around the bush like Karasu. Targets, kills, payments. If Karasu was this direct, I wouldn't have had to assume the worst. Yeah, I mean, you know, besides the whole killing part, it's not that bad. I mean, I figured from the beginning that my job would be something like this, and I can't complain, given how many people I've killed for my own selfish reasons. It's funny though that, like, yeah, he's already killed so many people for his own selfish reasons, but it's funny that, you know, once that he's made the switch, like, I already killed one, what's the problem with adding a more couple hundred people to those list? But still, it's nice to get confirmation. I guess he just got that killer mindset once he got it, you know? Once he killed the first person, he's like, ooh, I'm liking this. This is gonna be a thing for me now. Wonderful. Keep in mind, of course, that it ultimately makes little difference why your target must die. You only need to know who, and by when. With that being the case...
Oh, man, it's 10 a.m. already. Tell me about it. Whose idea was it to wake up at this ungodly hour?
Quit whining. If you didn't fuck about so much, you might actually have a proper sleeping schedule. Who that girl, though? I guess the rest will have to wait until later. Take a seat. We'll begin any moment now. My god, this is like the round table of the knights or something. King Arthur's round table, I believe, you know? Except we're all trained killers. And we got comfier seats, actually. After Kane said his piece, and my new other co-workers showed up one by one, we all took our seats, and waited for the meeting to begin. A couple of glances were cast my way, and 2 of them chatted briefly, but otherwise, we essentially just waited in silence a while. So, small turnout. Sure is. We're down to 7, huh? Wait, 7? Who is this? She only just noticed me? Am I so unpopular with women that they literally can't see me? We already went through this. This is Suoh, your new colleague. Wait, your name is Suoh? What the heck? Sai, this is no fair. How come the new guy gets the code name and I don't? You're with me on this one, aren't you, Violet? Ooh, Violet, that's a pretty name. Suoh is actually... like I care. You don't use your real name while working anyway, do you? I sure don't. Look, Suoh is my real...
That's not the point. Sai gets a cool code name, Karasu gets a cool code name, and now we have a newbie being called Dragon. It isn't fair. And why a Japanese code name anyway? I get that Karasu's the boss so he can call himself whatever he wants, but why the newbie? Did Sai name him or something? Wait, did he just say that my name is Japanese for dragon? I thought my father just made it up on the spot. How am I only learning this just now? Give it a rest already, Vincent. Yeah, Vincent van Gogh. I didn't even name my own kids. Why would I name someone else's? While Sai tried to get Violet and Vincent under control, I took another look around the room, spurred on by Violet's earlier statements. Sai, Vincent, and Violet make 3. Add Kane, Leon, and myself, and we have 6. That just leaves... Oh my god! She looks cross-eyed. What is wrong with her? Holy crap! When did she sneak up behind me? Hi there. I'm Suoh. Nice to meet you. She's sleepwalking. Nothing. Huh? Forget it. I'll try again when she's actually conscious. Alright, enough chatter. Kane, take it away. You got it, boss. Well then, first up, Violet. I understand that you were still unsuccessful as of Friday's meeting. Yeah, the guy never gave me an opening. He's been sticking to public venues ever since the trial began. Your Mark will be back in court by this time tomorrow. The time for discretion has passed. I know that, but this guy's paranoia is off the charts. My usual approach won't work. Then someone else will need to step in. Any takers? As Karasu had foretold, upon Violet's failure to deal with her target, Sai offered the job to whoever wanted it. Why not let the new guy do it? If he thinks he deserves to be here, then let him prove it. Given the opportunity to take on extra work, Leon instead deflected towards me. Yeah, fucker, because of how Karasu stood up for us, huh? God damn you, Leon. I may not stand a chance against these people, but I think I've already proven that I'm every bit as sneaky and cowardly as this job demands. You think that brat can do what I failed to do? Nobody wants your opinion, Leon. Let the boss man handle it. Shut up, Vincent. He doesn't deserve to be here, and neither do you. The glare of death. I feel like Leon probably had to scrape by the skin of his teeth to actually get this job, and then he gets extremely jealous when other people like myself just get it without even trying, I guess. He's gotta be really pissed off about that. Leon stopped talking completely as Sai stared him down, silently sapping the man's will to argue. While I think Leon was a bit hasty, he does raise a good point. Suoh's admittance was Karasu's idea. It's hard to trust someone you haven't seen in action. Not you two, Kane. Am I the only one here with any faith in Karasu's judgment? Kiss ass. The second Vincent spoke, Leon interjected, taking the opportunity to insult him. Although I could see the remark being a form of retaliation from moments ago, the very idea that Leon needed to retaliate painted a grave picture of my co-workers. Seriously, these guys are professional killers? Name-calling, bickering, brushing off work. Maybe I do belong here after all. They just, most of them at least, sort of seem like delinquents that somehow got roped into this job, like myself. Especially Vincent, perhaps. Violet actually as well, and then the half-sleeping girl. I don't know Leon's backstory. He seems like really, really proud to be here for some reason. Like he worked his butt off, literally the skin off his butt that's gone, so he can't even sit anymore. That's how hard he worked for this job. And Kane, I don't know. Kane's probably just, he knows Karasu, and so does Sai, I think. Enough. Suoh, are you up to the task? This is an important kill, requested by one of Karasu's major backers. The target needs to be taken out ASAP. Of course he does. My first job working directly under Karasu is one a professional has already failed after a week, yet I've been only given a day.
Furthermore, this is exactly what Kane said wouldn't happen. Why is a newbie being assigned to something so urgent and important? Oh well. It's not like I can refuse. Besides, an important target must mean a bigger paycheck, right? Yes, sir. Alright. Take Violet's notes with you and get going immediately. Suoh, you have one night to make it happen. Your target cannot be allowed to stand trial tomorrow. Oh, fuckity fuck. Following Saya's orders, I left Karasu's headquarters without delay, quickly stopping off at home before leaving for my first assignments. I put on an outfit I purchased without Sara's knowledge, careful not to risk getting any bloodstains on my own clothes, and grabbed one of the knives I recently purchased. Prepped and ready to go, I then vacated the premises as promptly as I had arrived, making my way straight to the nearest bus stop. While my first mode of transport for the day chugged along, I pulled out the notes Violet reluctantly handed over. The first page contained general information about the target, including his name, occupation, and home address. The following pages detailed Mr. Durst's usual hangouts, observed traits, and handwritten notes about his activities, most likely jotted down by Violet herself. Judging by Violet's notes, this guy seems just as difficult to nab as she had warned. Easy to find, often frequenting the same venues, but very difficult to actually finish off. Violet's notes detailed how she tried to seduce the man. On the first day, she waited until he was drunk, pretended that they knew each other, and then slipped arsenic into his drink. On the second day, Violet paid a stranger to cheer her friend up, handing her a key to a certain motel room in which Violet then waited. Every day, and often more than once per day, Violet would put on a disguise, pull a new scheme, and succeed only in making her target more wary. No wonder Violet didn't get anywhere. Reading through her notes, it sounds like her target's paranoia is off the charts. He knows that his life is in danger, and because of that, any attempts to get close to him will fail. Simply by reading through her notes, I gained a fair understanding of Violet's methods. Of course, she's using the seduction tactic like a succubus. Using seduction to put her target off guard, she would then use either poison or a silenced pistol, depending on the deadline and location. While I'm sure Violet's methods are usually effective, a direct approach is undoubtedly better against someone with this paranoid, and while Violet may be stuck in her ways, I have no such weakness. I'll do whatever the situation calls for, and by the end of the night, Mr. Durst will die. At the local pub. With my blades concealed beneath my shirt, I headed to the first location of Violet's list, the target's most frequented hangout. Most of the locations she detailed were bars, and this stop was no exception. Perhaps feeling safe there, given the bar's proximity to his home, Mr. Durst began to visit the same bar daily since Violet started stalking him. I'd like to call this guy a crazy drunk, but given why I'm here, I suppose his paranoia and alcoholism is justified. Whoever he pissed off, they've commissioned his death, and unfortunately for Mr. Durst, I don't plan on having a moral epiphany anytime soon. As I reached the bar, I peered in through the front window, setting my sights on Mr. Durst a moment later. Son of a bitch. He's drinking this early in the morning? I guess it's no surprise that Violet was chosen to take him out. Anyone who visits a bar this early in the day is begging for some company. If he were just a little less paranoid, chances are Violet's approach would have worked. While I can't say that I'm attracted to Violet myself, I can at least tell that she's the type to get whatever man she wants. Oh yeah, you can tell that. A bit of alcohol, some sweet words, and before they know it, her target is tied to her bed, begging her not to pull the trigger. I mean, I don't know about, look at her face. It has she has a sweetness to it, right? She's like an innocent and sweetness to her face, but then that's why they don't expect it. They're like, oh, such a sweet and innocent girl, and then bam, she pulls a gun out of nowhere. Even without inebriating her target, I'm sure she'd at least be able to lure them somewhere private enough for an execution. So why did she fail? In my case, I have the healthy excuse of being attracted to people my own age. But as for Mr. Durst, he couldn't be like Andre, could he? I mean, that would certainly explain why he's going to court, why Violet's advances failed, and even why I got this assignment. But surely that could be true, like he used to be part of this group working under Karasu as a killer, but then he's come forth as like a snitch, and he's going to trial very soon to like expose Karasu's whole enterprise, business, whatever. And because we're new, he doesn't know us, so he's not gonna suspect us, whereas the others he's more familiar with because, you know, he's worked with them. That sounds plausible. No. What am I thinking? There's no way that's the case. Sure, between my coworkers and I, we have a teenage boy and girl, an older pretty boy, and a seductress. But that doesn't mean we... Oh crap. He really is a pedophile, isn't he? Oh my god, I hadn't even thought of that. What? Oh my god, what? Shouldn't the other girl have gotten it then? Allowing my thoughts to get the best of me for a while, I eventually realized that Mr. Durst wasn't moving. Despite the fact that he had been in the bar since before I arrived, my target hadn't moved once. He hadn't spoken to anyone, gone to the bathroom, or even taken a sip of his drink. Now this is a problem. Either my target is blind drunk, he fell asleep while remaining upright, or he died right there on that stool. From out here, I really can't tell. But it's not like I can just waltz in there and check on him. Nor can I afford to wait outside all day. Even if luring him outside would be best, someone as cautious as Mr. Durst won't leave his safe place easily, and I can't afford to be seen again. My best bet, boring though it may be, is to find a hiding place and watch over him until my target steps outside of his own accord. I started looking around for somewhere to hide. I needed a discreet perch from which I could spy on my target without risking being seen myself. Fortunately, the moment I turned around, I had my answer. An apartment overseeing the pub. That might work. I'll have to move quickly if my target does take off, and there's the risk that he might exit out the back entrance. But realistically, I won't find a better hiding place. Having quickly decided on my temporary hideout, I waited for the traffic to thin before crossing the road, then made my way to the apartment complex. Using the dumpster next to the fire escape, I jumped with all of my strength, tightly clinging onto the metal bars as I hoisted myself over. As soon as I pulled myself to safety, I found a window that had been smashed in, leading to an empty apartment. Looks like I'm not the first person to break in like this. Here's hoping that my predecessor isn't still inside. Pepper, Dr. Pepper, 187, gotta remember that code, you never know what it might be good for. I climbed through the broken window, careful not to cut myself on the glass. What awaited me inside was a heavily vandalized apartment, filled with empty beer bottles and graffiti. Although my reason for coming here might be different, the placement of that dumpster was definitely no accident. I'm just lucky that nobody got here before me. It's a little risky to stay in an abandoned apartment people have obviously been visiting, but as far as stakeout locations go, this one can't be beaten. A large window overseeing the street below, directly across from the pub, not to mention the relative privacy. If it weren't for the stench of alcohol and spray paint, I wouldn't have any reservations about this place. Now, once I get used to the smell, all I have to do is sit back, relax, and wait for my target to surface. Hours passed as the day dragged on, long ago taking my enthusiasm with it. Watching and waiting, never moving from my seat. I could feel the sanity leaving my brain. Sitting, laying down, stretching, sprawling across the room, I did everything I could think of to remain attentive. But no matter how long I waited, my target never emerged. There it is again! I'm not crazy. That was definitely not my stomach. There's someone else here, watching me. Subconsciously realizing that the paint fumes were getting to me, and that I hadn't eaten since before 8 a.m., I tried to calm myself down. Again! That was definitely a person moving around behind me. Or a rat. Or a possum. Or a pigeon. Do rats' stomachs growl? Could this place be infested with rodents? I'd better not fall asleep. I don't want them nibbling on my face and giving me the plague. Does that even still exist, the plague? I don't think it does. I'm cold, tired, hungry, and bored out of my mind. Worse, I think the fumes are getting to me. I've been hearing sounds on and off all day. Okay, this actually seems like a pretty freaking boring job. Time continued to pass by, leaving me alone in a cold, dark, empty room. Night had fallen, and below I could see crowds continuing to pass by the building, thinning at the same rate as the traffic. Before I knew it, there only remained a few stragglers, leaving the streets almost entirely empty. It was at this point that I reached a worrying realization. Your target is long gone. I hate to admit it, but that is a possibility. He could have escaped out the back door, or slipped out while I was moving around in an attempt to stay awake. He could have left while I was trying to get this damn apartment, or into this, for all I know, leaving me to waste the entire day in solitude. Maybe I was mistaken from the beginning. Maybe he was never in there at all. If that's the case, then No sooner had I begun to panic than a single figure left the pub. A lone man, drunk off his ass, and seemingly without a care in the world, stumbled out of the pub, looking frantically from side to side as he rarely stepped outside. You son of a bitch. Fueled by panic, rage, excitement, and every other adrenaline-inducing feeling man is capable of, I ducked through the broken window and dropped down the exterior fire escape. I hit the ground hard, missing the dumpster entirely, and immediately racked my body with pain, just enough to wake me up. With my ankles screaming at me, I sprinted towards the pub, quickly locking onto my target. But with passers-by still prevalent, and cars driving by every few seconds, locking onto him was all I could do. There are too many people around, too many potential witnesses, not to mention would-be heroes and cops. I can't get impatient now. I'll just need to tail this guy a little longer. I've made it this far. Waiting a little longer won't kill me. Oh, it's gonna kill him. After tailing Mr. Durst for a while, opportunity soon struck. The man I had been following ran into a nearby alley, apparently desiring privacy as much as I did. Is it time to strike? Oh my god. Give chase watch from distance. Okay, I don't trust this guy. I'm gonna watch from a distance. I just have this feeling in my stomach that if he's somewhat expecting us, which is why did he suddenly run, right? If he's drunk of his ass, the only reason he's running is because he's suspicious and therefore trying to get away. But I feel like if we give chase, he ran into an alley, which gives him two options. He's either running into the alley to run away and get away from us as fast as possible, or to try and ambush us. If we watch from a distance, we won't get ambushed. We'll lose the target though if he has run away. But if we give chase, it could turn ugly. But he is drunk of his ass. Perhaps we should give chase. I don't know. I just have a gut feeling that this is the right choice. So I'm gonna go with this. No, I'd better keep my distance. I wouldn't want to get caught out at this point. I've come too far to get careless now. After a few minutes, my target emerged once more. He probably disappeared into the alley to vomit or take a piss. Both are distinct possibilities, considering how much time he spent at that damn bar. Speaking of which, he isn't looking too sturdy. Too much alcohol, not enough of pretty much anything else. And that isn't necessarily a bad thing, considering why I'm here. Slowed reflexes, impaired motor function, cloud judgment. He's just making my job easier, at least in theory. Mr. Durst stumbled down the street, wobbling from side to side, as though he might fall over at any moment. He corrected himself a few times as he wandered dangerously close to the road, narrowly avoiding passing cars and street signs. Can we just walk by him and just, quickly nudge him accidentally and then bam, he's gonna fall in front of a car dead? Do I even need to be here? A little closer to the road, and he might actually end up getting himself killed. But if a car does my dirty work, do I still get paid? That's a good question. And it's not really a correct way of killing someone as a professional killer, right? You really got to do the job yourself, and you have to ensure the fact that he dies as well. Like, you could throw him in front of a car, but that doesn't necessarily 100% ensure that he's dead. He could have survived the car crash. Many people have survived such things before, so it's kind of, you gotta be very meticulous with that sort of stuff as a professional killer. Yeah, I know, I have experience. I continued to follow my target discreetly, always far enough away that he couldn't hear or see me. The evening rush of people heading home from work died down, and before long, there were only a handful of other people out on the streets. If I'm going to make my move, now is the time to do it. Inspired by my target's close encounters with death, I waited for another couple of minutes, keeping an eye out for a suitable vehicle. Anything too small or going too slowly would not only fail to kill the man, it would also put unwanted focus on him, making a second attempt impossible. So I continued to stalk my target from a short distance, analyzing incoming traffic, until the moment when I was sure I had struck gold. Boom! Holy crap.
Ho ho ho! Oh my god! Did you see that?
That guy! He came out of nowhere! As an evening bus driver sought to complete his rounds, I shoved my target into the oncoming traffic. I then quickly hid myself back in the shadows of the night, watching as a poor, unsuspecting driver did my dirty work for me. The bus driver held his head in his hands, muttering incoherently to himself, unable to believe what had just happened. The few passengers on board seemed too scared to get out of the bus, let alone get a closer look. They all remained either focused on the corpse or intent on not seeing a thing until the gruesome sight had been removed. I waited around for a short while to gauge the reactions of passengers and listen in on their observations, and not once did any of them mention seeing the man get pushed. He came out of nowhere, and it all happened so fast. It was a horrific incident that nobody on board would soon forget, despite only knowing half the story. As far as they were concerned, a drunk man stumbled in front of a bus and ultimately met his demise. Though not in an anticipated manner, and certainly not as quickly as I would have liked, my target was killed, and my presence was never known. All in all, my first paid kill was a success. Cha-ching!